Hello, I hope you're doing well. Today I want to share a case I was involved in. The story of Muhammad's house. Muhammad is an old friend of mine, and this story goes back to when his father, Saeed, decided to sell their family house. The house was inherited and they needed the money. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't sell the house. Every potential buyer who came to see it liked the house at first, but in the end, they would change their minds, and no deal was ever made. Saeed was frustrated, and one day at the local coffee shop, he spoke to my uncle about the situation. My uncle said, "Can I come and see the house? Maybe there's something wrong with it." Apparently, Saeed knew that my uncle had some knowledge of metaphysics and said, "Sure, come see." I remember Muhammad and his mother came over to my uncle's house and had lunch with us. From this point, the story is told from my uncle's perspective. We arrived at the house around 9 p.m. It had a yard of about 40 square meters. The moment I stepped in, the sound of autumn leaves crunching under my feet echoed through the space, giving me a strange feeling. But why strange? With every step I took, I could hear a faint moaning sound that only I could hear. Said seemed completely unaware. The closer we got to the main building, the quieter the sound became. Entering the house, I saw it was old, with only two worn-out carpets, a small gas stove in the kitchen. To get a sense of the house's energy, I asked Saeed, "It's time for prayer. Should I pray?" He replied, "Go ahead, be comfortable." I prayed peacefully, then told Saeed, "If something were wrong with this house, they wouldn't let me pray so calmly." He asked, "Who wouldn't let you?" I replied, "The spirits or jinn that resides here." He sighed and said, "Maybe it's just the real estate market. That's why it hasn't been sold." As we returned to the yard, the moaning sound started again. I asked Saeed, "Before your parents, who lived here?" He said, "My grandparents." I asked, "Mahmoud, you mean?" Saeed nodded, "Yes." Then I asked about his grandfather and a dispute he had with someone named Ali over farmland, which involved some kind of spiritual ritual. Saeed said, "I've heard about it. What does it have to do with the house?" My uncle said, "Saeed, it's possible that something from the house ritual is still active here. Step outside and leave me alone for a while." When Saeed left, I moved towards the source of the moaning. As I reached the basement, the sound grew stronger. I entered the basement and called out loudly, "Jinn who dwell in this house, show yourselves. I want to speak with you." Well, some of them appeared. I cannot describe their shapes. I asked, "Why do you refuse to leave this house?" In a terrifying voice, they replied, "We'll live here. That fool entered our house, saw us, and dared to challenge us. By our great leader, we will not leave this house." I said, "If you do not leave, I will burn you." Then I recited the protective prayer and they fled. About 2 months later, the house was finally sold. Take care of yourselves.